COVID-19 experience that we're all going through in our own very different ways. This session is specifically focused on the actions that our panelists today in the different categories that they belong to in the industry that they're operating in, the kind of actions they need to take in order to bring the consumers back to the fold with the kind of confidence that they are safe and the confidence that the employees are safe, and that there is a specific plan for each of these different businesses going forward to make sure that their business models remain sustainable in spite of all of the different changes that they have to adapt to. So that's the key focus of this seminar. With that, I'm going to hand back to Imran. Imran, please take it over, and we'll start off with Niaz.
Thank you, Fariha. Our audience can also engage and participate through 4 poll questions that will be popped up on your screen, and the results of those will also display as soon as they're completed. We've also allocated 10 minutes for a startup segment, girlythings.pk. So we'll also be introducing that. And we've allocated roughly 20 minutes towards the end of the session for Q&A. I request the audience to use the Q&A option for asking your questions throughout the session. And I would request one of the hosts to summarize the questions for the moderators so that we can put those to the panelists later on. So if I start off with our keynote speaker, Mr. Niaz Malik. Niaz Saab has been heading Zong and is a leading consultant for the telecom sector. A lot of products that you see now also for companies like PTCL, he has also been the inspiration behind that. So Niaz Saab, if I request you to briefly tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and also how do you see the future of telecoms over the coming years?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
And now,
yes,
you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I'm really excited to be here. And thank you so much for your generous introduction. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was the deputy CEO of Zong, and I was one of the people that worked extremely hard to bring 4G technology to the Pakistani markets, because I always believed the enormous amount of opportunity and the amount of access that we can provide to our population. I'm going to keep asking if you can hear me. I'm not sure.
No, we can hear you.
No. Okay. And before that, I was, I worked with the organization as Chief Innovation Officer, as a Chief Strategy Officer, as a Chief Commercial Officer in various different roles. And before that, I was the acting CIO of PTCL also, and the Executive Vice President for Product Development and Corporate Sales, and the Executive Vice President for Information Systems and IT. And before that, I was in the United States, working with one of the top firms in the areas of mergers and acquisitions, technology, and strategy development with organizations that had a market cap of about $50 billion. What I really want to talk about is the last 5 years, because of the uncertainty that this Corona or COVID-19 has created. I was also a pilot. I was also a kayak. I was also, a scuba diver. So I had this outdoor life. I was one of those people that would not sit home whenever I was on vacations. But about 5 years ago, I met a severe accident, and I got paralyzed from the neck down. So I'm paralyzed now. And it brought a tremendous change in my life, a change which I could not have fathomed, no matter what would have happened in my life. And all of a sudden, in an instant when I woke up, I realized that I could not move my body. I was not able to move my arms, my fingers, my legs, not able to move in my bed. And hence, there was this dramatic change that occurred with no prior warning. And I think that is what I want to discuss about, because a lot of people have this anxiety over the COVID-19. How is it that people will transition? How is it that business will transition? How is it that the future will look like And I want to share a few of my insights and my experiences. And I hope that that will help you in some way. First of all, जब मुझे पता चला कि मैं पैरालाइज्ड हो गया हूँ, तो मुझे फैज की एक गजल का एक छोटा सा जुमला याद है, शेर याद है कि अब तो लगता है कि कुछ भी नहीं है, महताब न सूरज न अंधेरा न सवेरा, माना कि ये सुनसान घड़ी सख्त घड़ी है, मगर मेरे दिल ये तो फकत एक घड़ी है, चाहो तो जीने को एक उम्र पड़ी है. And you know, after my accident, I started reading fast. तो मुझे इसने बहुत हिम्मत दी. And the idea, the first and the most important thing is that no matter what the circumstances are, we must not lose hope. The second and the most important thing is that I did is that I had to revolutionize my life. I had to rethink, reassess, and realign not only my priorities, but in terms of how I was living my life itself. And I think that's what you will be able to relate to, that the COVID-19 has brought a whole new transformation and a dynamic change. And here I am after 5 years, you know, living, mashallah, a great life and being part of this session. And this tells you that जब change आ जाए हमारी जिंदगी में, जब मुश्किलात आ जाए हमारी जिंदगी में, तो एक जो strategic thinking है वो बहुत important है. और उसको पाने के लिए आपकी जो inner exploration है, you know, the ability to explore yourself and to find the strength in order to move on is very, very important. And from an organization perspective, it is those core values that drive your organization forward. It is the spirit of the organization that you must try to understand in these trying times. The second and the most important part is that if you find that then आपके पास हौसला, हिम्मत, जज्बा और एक ऐसा वल्वला आपके पास आ जाएगा that no matter what happens, you will say that I will prevail. I will not, you know, I will not give up on my dreams. I will not give up on my desires. I will not give up on my business goals, you know, from the organization perspective. So that is the second thing, because that's what I did. You know, I started my own consulting company called Niaz Malik Consultants, and we help large organizations and especially CEOs in terms of solving their strategic problems. So the volatility, the kind of volatility that came into my life, not knowing how I would move my arms, how would I move my legs, currently exists. But the thing is that I have evolved my life dramatically in order to deal with the situation. And I think that COVID-19, even though it seems like a great threat for humanity, I feel that it is a great source of inspiration. And also it will provide us a different perspective in terms of how we should deal with technology and with our own selves. It will help us in finding the new spirit. Because I always believe that the human race has always prevailed. If you take a look at the history of humankind, you will not find a single instant where the human has failed, you know, in the past. And so I look at this as a new opportunity for the organizations and for the people to change. And I can say that with a great sense of confidence because I have been able to do it in my own life. So this is not, you know, a guy who is just telling you shaba shaba sher bane and have not done it himself. I deal with the great amount of uncertainty in my own life on a daily basis. Like for example, my biggest challenge today is how I will be able to answer your questions, which you will be posing specifically for us, for anybody else. It will be simple as, you know, looking at your mobile phone and then answering it. But for me, life has not been that simple. But it has created a great excitement of a change itself in terms of how I realign, relive, and recreate a new, whole new mission for my life itself. So I work, you know, as a motivational speaker, help CEOs and organizations with regards to how to deal with the volatility and with the change, using of technology. And I have used immensely the technology that I had available. For example, I'm sitting on this smart chair without you realizing that I am paralyzed. I use, you know, the voice commands in order to ensure that I am able to write complicated documents and proposals for my customers. तो मैं जो एक चीज आपको कहना चाह रहा हूं कि इस कोविड-19 से आपने घबराना नहीं है। माना कि घड़ी मुश्किल घड़ी है, लेकिन इसका जवाब और इसका हल आपके अंदर मौजूद है। आपके पास वो सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स, आपके पास वो जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की व्हीकल्स और वो थॉट प्रोसेस और वो रिच एक्सपीरियंस है कि आपको कोविड-19 नहीं रोक सकता। मुझसे बहुत से लोग पूछते हैं दुनिया तबाह हो जाएगी, ऊपर से नीचे हो जाएगी, और मैं उनको कहता हूं कि नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं होगा। The only thing that we have to change is change ourselves. That we must adapt, and we are the most adaptable species in this planet because God has given us that ability, and why we must use it now. This is the time for you to enhance your frontiers, to look at new dimensions of life, to come up with the new solutions, to create a new carving for your business itself. And I think if you are successful at that, then you will look back at this COVID-19 and you will say, yeah, बहुत मुश्किल time था, but thank God I've come out on the top and I'm still winning. Your business will still prevail, but you must think differently. You must understand that you utilize all the mechanisms that are available to you, and especially the technology platforms and ecosystems, in order to ensure that you continue and you are a step ahead of your customer preferences. And that's because the consumers are changing. They are using these platforms and these vehicles and these methods in order to do business with your organizations. And in order to do that, you must implement swift, agile systems within your organizations to prevail. But most importantly, himmat nahi haarni. That is my message to you, that COVID-19 will change things, but we are an adaptable species, so be it. And usse ghabrana nahi hai. Bahut se log ghabra gaye. Yes, I understand the great challenge. देखो मैं इस वक्त पैरालाइज्ड हूँ और मैं इस पैरालिसिस की अंदर से निकला हूँ, और इसमें जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है ना, इस चीज को समझने के लिए, प्रोसेस करने के लिए अपना टाइम लें, कोई हेस्ट में डिसीजंस ना करें, वेदर इट इज आपकी in terms of balance sheet hai, ya in terms of how you want to engage with your customers. You need to ensure that in this dynamic world you are able to provide certainty for uncertain times, and especially your people who are very uncertain. तो आपने उनको anchor करना है, हौसला करना है, बधाना है. When I got paralyzed, my whole family was in chaos. I really didn't know where the next paycheck is going to come from. I really didn't know how is it that I will be able to school my kids. I really didn't know how I will be able to do एक आम लिबास मैं कैसे पहनूंगा, टूथब्रश मैं कैसे करूंगा, मैं लिखूंगा कैसे, मैं टाइप कैसे करूंगा. You just imagine the kind of chaos that occurred when I realized that I am totally paralyzed. तो ये जो chaos है, जब मैं उसको उसके साथ मवाजना करता हूँ, तो मैं आपको यकीन दिला सकता हूँ कि ये उतना मुश्किल नहीं है, लेकिन आपने सोच को मुख्तलिफ रखना है, अपने जाविये को in terms of how you are dealing with this different लगना है. लोग कहते हैं ऐसा भी तो कहना बड़ा आसान है. मैं कहता हूँ आसान नहीं. ये अगर आप कर लेंगे और एक डिसिप्लिन के साथ अपने अंदर कंसिस्टेंसी ले आएंगे, तो it is very much possible.
Thank you, Niaz. Your story is truly inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. In terms of all of your experience that you've shared with us with the telecom sector and how that is going to help shape the future based on all of the things that we are experiencing right now thanks to COVID, what in your opinion are some of the most significant changes that are going to be brought in? One specific aspect that I would like to pick your brains on are the future of fintech and cashless payment systems. Now, I know that's something that's already happening in the developing world, but considering that we are still in a third world economy where people don't have access to debit cards and credit cards, they don't trust cashless payments, it's still a very hard cash kind of an economy that we have. But because of the current situations, you go to the stores and people are like do I really want to handle this cash? And do I want to take your money? Is that going to affect me in any way? So how do you, especially for mobiles, now that you know that you can use your mobile to make payments, I think there's a huge opportunity there, but what are the key changes that you feel that need to be brought in to take that forward and to keep everyone as safe as possible?
Thank you. So the first one is on the telecom. So I've been in the telecom business and I loved it, and I still love it. I still write a lot about, the telecom industry. I think these are very fascinating times for the telecom. And I hope that the people that are, working in this particular industry, from CEO to the frontline staff, will understand that they must change. That, in these dynamic markets where the organization's ability to keep up with the customer preferences is very, very important. And the customer preferences are changing at a very rapid pace. That is one thing that I will be talking about. The second important thing is I want you to realize that telecom has actually revolutionized Pakistan. It is one of those industries that have done a great service to our country in terms of bringing, a mobility platform which helped all facets of our country to connect with each other. It's a great service that they have done. And we have one of the most cheapest rates, calling rates that are available. But now the telecom industry has to really, really change. And that change is very important, because if they will not be able to change, there will be other firms that will be taking a bigger chunk of their revenues. And one of the most important things is that they have to believe in the essence of digitalization. And they have to bring this digitalization into the DNA of the organization itself. The other important thing is that in order for the telecoms to change, they have to get rid of the hegemonic and the bureaucratic structure that currently exists, which does not make them flexible enough in order to deal with the volatility that exists in the market space. They have to think differently for the sales and distribution systems, because obviously a lot of their revenue, there is a big hit on the revenue because voice is the core driver, even though the data uptake has been very strong. And the other important thing is that how is it the telecoms are able to create new ecosystems, their ability to bring various different industries onto the telco platform, so they're able to fulfill the emerging needs, which are very, very diverse for each consumer. And each consumer is very different. So the business intelligence and robotics have to be very, very important part of the telcos in order to how they move forward. So that is another important part. In order to do that, they have to revamp, reconsider the entire business processing within their operations also, and with regards to the technology platforms that they have currently available. And the entire enterprise landscape, which is available for them in terms of how they provide solution to enterprises of Pakistan, so that they can create a difference globally, using the telecom engine. So they don't become a dumb, pipe, but rather a smart pipe that's capable of providing new opportunities to the organizations and to, most importantly, to the individuals. Ye to ho gaya telecoms ke upar. So that is the telecom side. Fintech. Obviously, fintech is something that everybody's talking about. It is about inclusion. It's about bringing people, into the bankable landscape. And if we take a look at it, globally, we find that there has been a systematic decline in the unbankable population, which has occurred. Almost 500 million people, have been part of this particular process from 2011 to 2014. But if we take a look at Pakistan, and if we take a look at the overall, population in terms of where we stand, we are almost 6% of the unbanked population globally, which is a higher number. And there has been a lot of, successive governments have worked extremely hard on that front. And but the thing is, even in 2015, the National Financial Inclusion Strategy Report and subsequently the Roadmap of Stability by the Finance Ministry have not been able to provide the real dent which is required in order to ensure that the bankable population comes into the fold of the bankable. And the reason for that is that a lot of people in Pakistan don't have the kind of trust in the banking sector itself. If we take a look at the World Report, we find that almost there's 11 branches every 100,000 people, around the globe itself, and Pakistan is not any different. And when there were a lot of analysis or surveys that were done, 78% of the people do not actually believe in their banks themselves. And then 79% of the people actually believe in their own friends in order to get the loans. And only 8% of the people would like to go to the banking side. So what does this mean? That we have to address the trust issue. The trust issue has to be very important and critical. The second important thing is that if we take a look at the gender gap, we find that Pakistan is lagging behind, and especially women. There are different numbers. Some people say that there is 11% men, and there is about 6% women. And in the 2015 National Financial Inclusion Strategy, there were some aggressive goals that were set with the 50% of the bringing 50% people on board. And in 2018, when the analysis were done, we moved from 21% to 25%. And on the women's side, we moved from 5% to 7%, which is a meager kind of increase in terms of, towards this initiative. So the second important point is that we have to work on this gender gap, and we have to create the kind of awareness तो हमारी ख़वातीन जो हैं वो इस चीज को समझे, और वो हमारी बैकबोन है, वो हमारे घरों की बैकबोन है, हमें इनको लाना होगा. There has to be an aggressive campaign that has to be put forward. अब जो 11 से 12 बैंक हैं जो इसमें काम करते हैं, उसमें जो मेजर चंक है उसको ड्राइव कर रही हैं टेलीकॉम्स. जो बैंक के अंदर अपने इनिशिएटिव्स हैं डिजिटलाइजेशन के, वो उस तरीके से सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो पा रहे. So the bankings have to rethink and reanalyze. And then the most important thing is that accessibility मौजूद है. 78% of the population in Pakistan have access to mobile. So that is a great news for us. दूसरी जो एक लास्ट जो 2 पॉइंट्स हैं वो ये है कि सिक्योरिटी और ऑथेंटिसिटी जो है, in terms of providing secure systems in which people can believe, there is a major gap on that front, which has to be bridged also. And the last and the most important point is that there has to be ecosystems. I am a great believer of ecosystems. I will continue saying this in most of my answers. I hope you don't get bored with it. But I think it's the ability, no one organization or one industry can do it all. I think that the new banking models have to be born, which have to, based on the data technology and the agility and the ability of telecoms and the banking industry and the regulators and the developers also to come on one platform to take Pakistan forward. I think if we are able to do that, we will produce a great amount of efficiency within our own economy itself, and we will provide a greater opportunity for the masses, in order to take advantage of जो भी उनकी जिंदगी में मौके आते हैं उसको फुलफिल करने के लिए. तो पाकिस्तान के पास बहुत ज्यादा मौका है टू एनकैप्सुलेट, बहुत बड़ा मौका है हमारे पास उतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी मौजूद है. हमें उस अपॉर्चुनिटी पे काम करना होगा. वो अपॉर्चुनिटी गवर्नमेंट अकेले नहीं कर सकती, ना ही टेलकोज अकेले कर सकते हैं, ना ही बैंक कर सकता है. इसके लिए एक ऐसे इकोसिस्टम्स और प्लेटफॉर्म्स बनाने पड़ेंगे और कैपेबिलिटीज को इकट्ठा करना पड़ेगा ताकि हम अपने हर शहरी, हर फर्द और हर पाकिस्तानी तक पहुंच सकें. So that's my take on this particular question.
Thank you, Niaz.
Thank you, Niaz. What a wonderful, inspiring example. We're also putting up the results of the first poll that was shared with our participants, where we asked them whether they were following any daily protocols. 74% have said very strictly, 26% somewhat. So interesting result. Just moving on to our next speaker, Nadia Hussain. She represents a very different sector. She comes from the beauty and fashion sector. She's a well-known name. And I would like Nadia to briefly tell us a little bit about your business and also how it is currently impacted by COVID. Nadia, you'll have to unmute your mic.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So me being in the beauty industry, you know, like it's totally something that I cannot do online. There is a lot of physical contact required in this. And this has really, really, truly badly affected the business, which of course there's a lot of fear regarding people coming to the salon and what kind of services they want and things like that. So because it's so contact driven, you know, हम लोगों को अपने business में at least काफी strict किस्म की SOPs को enforce करना पड़ रहा है, which is fine. I don't mind the SOPs. But, you know, to make the people confident that, you know, we are following the SOPs is something which, you know, requires a bit of, I would say, communication, good communication. And then the second thing is that, you know, unfortunately, we have had no support from the Pakistan government, where even the State Bank refinance scheme, which I actually kind of call a scam, कि उसमें हम लोगों को, especially being a woman entrepreneur and an SME, I have not been able to utilize that because it has such strict kind of requirements for me to even apply for that loan. कि एक तो खैर ये है कि मेरी जो staff है, they are not on a contract with me. So, you know, and there is no absolutely no kind of loyalty to that this staff, this labor category staff have, it's a skilled labor. So this skilled labor category kind of staff, you know, has towards, there's no loyalty towards the business. So, you know, my question was, and my confusion in my mind was whether I even should apply for this loan, because पता लगे कि जी कल जो है ये लोग मुझे छोड़ के चले जाएं और मैं जो हूँ वो अगले 3 साल तक या 5 साल तक इनके नाम पर जो मैंने सैलरी उठाई थी, सिर्फ 3 महीने के लिए जो सैलरी उठाई थी, वो मैं अगले 5 साल तक जो है वो मैं उनको पे बैक, वो बैंक को पे बैक मैं कर रही होंगी और ये लोग मुझे छोड़ के चली जाएंगी. So you know, because to them, there is absolutely no value of a contract. If they want to leave, they're going to leave no matter what, you know. So it was very, very confusing, very difficult. And especially regarding the State Bank refinance scam, what the issue was कि हम लोगों को as a business, हम लोगों को या तो पहले सुनने में आ रहा था कि हम लोगों को collateral देने की जरूरत है. तो कोलैटरल भी जो है वो किस किस्म का दें, क्या दें, then they said कि जी liquid assets and things like that. उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा कि जी corporate guarantee दें. So I, you know, it was again so difficult. It was impossible. So this was something that, you know, like I just was like, this is absolutely ridiculous, because, you know, as far as the State Bank refinance scheme was concerned, they even require like 3 years of audits. And I mean, I am very particular about my finances, but as far as a lot of other salons are concerned, and as far as a lot of other SMEs are concerned, especially the ones that women are running, it is totally, I would say, there is a 30% population, perhaps, from what I gather in my salon industry. only 30% of the businesses are actually very, very particular about their finances, and they're running it as a business, you know. But a lot of women, they are not running this as a business, you know. जो पैसा आता है वो या तो कैश में भी अगर आ रहा है, उनके पास कोई चेक्स बैलेंसेस नहीं है, कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं रखती हैं, कोई सिस्टम पे इनपुट नहीं जाता है, उनको कोई हिसाब नहीं है उनके पास कि जी हाँ, वो सिर्फ एक, यू नो, लाइक वही पुराने जमाने के सम से जो है वो अपनी रजिस्टर के ऊपर उनका हिसाब चल रहा होता है. सो ऑडिट कहाँ से करेंगी वो कि जी कौन सा क्या पैसा कहाँ गया, कितना गया, क्या किया, कुछ भी नहीं. बिकॉज यू नो इवन एज फार एज salaries are concerned, a lot of our staff is just salaries on cash. So it has been extremely challenging, and especially regarding the fact कि हम लोगों को जो salaries हैं वो फिर मैंने क्या किया कि मैंने मार्च की salaries पे की, और वो भी फिर मैंने अपने जितने भी मेरे क्रेडिट कार्ड की जो फैसिलिटी थी, कैश फैसिलिटी, वो मैंने अवेल की और वो मैंने पैसे निकाले. बिकॉज यू नो इवन एज फार एज माई बिजनेस इज कंसर्न्ड, because like I said in the very beginning, my Lucky One branch has been a bit of a challenge for me because I started that last year. It's only been about 9 months. Anyway, I started at the wrong time, you know, कि जब वैसी financial crunch में पूरा पाकिस्तान financial crunch में से गुजर रहा था. This amnesty scheme has really you know cut down our spending power, and this whole taxation issue जो जब से taxation का इतना ज़्यादा strict हुआ है, people have stopped spending a lot of money. The expendable and dispensable income has really gone down. तो उसकी वजह से business, especially the salon industry, has really been affected, because ये जो यहाँ पे जो खवातीन, कुछ जो खवातीन आती हैं वो सिर्फ अपने पैसे खर्च करने के लिए भी आती थी. तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया था कि जिसमें लिटरली हम लोग, एटलीस्ट मैं अपनी बात कर रही हूँ कि मैं लिटरली हैंड टू माउथ चल रही थी for almost a year, in which because of the Lucky One salon, I also had taken a loan. I was paying back the loan as well, जिसमें से अभी जो है वो मैंने 85% पे बैक कर दिया, अभी मेरा 15% फिर भी रहता है. So you know, I have had zero income as far as my business is concerned. You know, my one branch has been supporting the other branch. तो जिस तरीके से भी पैसे, you know, जहाँ से भी पैसे आए वो सिर्फ बिजनेस में जा रहा था, you know, वो एक्सपेंसेस में जा रहा था. तो मेरे पास तो वैसी कोई सेविंग्स नहीं थी, और फिर ये मुसीबत आ गई कि जी हम लोगों को मार्च में जो है वो सैलरीज देनी पड़ी. तो खैर एनीवे, मैंने अपनी जो भी जिस तरीके से भी फाइनेंसेस को इकट्ठे करके मैंने अपनी स्टाफ की मार्च की सैलरीज दी. For April, I decided there is no way that I will be able to pay them anything. And because the business has been shut, so I said, you know, it's too bad. I mean, I created a lot of fuss, a lot of hue and cry. I went on television. I did some, you know, Zoom meetings with some renowned salon owners. And we spoke about it a lot. We spoke a lot about it, that, you know, we are employing minorities, we are employing women, we are employing, you know, we are giving employment to transgenders, to acid burn victims. हम लोग जो हैं वो taxes भी हम लोग देते हैं, you know, industry को, पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट को हम लोग taxes देते हैं. और हम लोग जो है वो हमारी अगर इनकम भी देखी जाए तो हमारी इनकम जीडीपी में भी जो है वो इतना इसका अच्छा खासा आई वुड से कि परसेंटेज है, नॉट अ ह्यूज परसेंटेज डेफिनेटली. एंड you know, as far as then the business was concerned, then I decided not to pay the staff for the month of April, which I just could not help it, which I decided that maybe I'm going to pay them just a nominal amount, which is going to be sufficient enough for them to maybe just you know survive. कि आप राशन वाशन का जो हिसाब है वो ले ले, बिकॉज ये जो स्टाफ है, स्किल्ड लेबर जो है, ये ये सब कुछ सफेद पोश लोग भी हैं, जाहिर है मेरे स्टाफ के अंदर, जिसके अंदर वो नहीं उनको वो जो ये दिस क्या है द 12,000 वाली जो स्कीम है, आई फॉरगॉटन द नेम ऑफ दैट. सो एहसास प्रोग्राम वाली चीज जो थी, तो वो उसके लिए भी वो अप्लाई नहीं कर सके. जो माइनॉरिटीज हैं, फिर रमजान शुरू होने वाला हो गया, जो माइनॉरिटीज है उनको ज़कात तक मुयस्सर नहीं थी. सो आई सेड एटलीस्ट ओके, दिस इज गोना बी माय परहैप्स यू नो चैरिटी, इफ नॉट ज़कात, माय चैरिटी टुवर्ड्स माय स्टाफ, कि दिस इज हाउ द ओनली थिंग आई कैन डू इज टू मेंटेन देम, कि एटलीस्ट उनका घर का चूल्हा जो है वो चलता रहे, भले वो कोई और एक्सपेंस को मेंटेन करें कि ना करें. And then May came, and we decided that we are going to open. इवन दो कि फिर भी जो है वो अभी तक हम लोगों को गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कोई SOPs नहीं मिले। मैं जाके कमिश्नर से जाके मिल चुकी हूँ, मैं गवर्नर से जाके मिल चुकी हूँ, मैंने हम लोगों ने CM को जो है वो 2-2, 3-3 लेटर्स दिए कि खुदा के वास्ते हम लोगों को कोई SOPs दे दें कि हम अपनी बिजनेसेस को रन कर सके, बिकॉज ऑफ दीज मल्टीट्यूड ऑफ इश्यूज दैट वी हैव बीन हैविंग, दैट वी हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू सपोर्ट आवर बिजनेस, एंड दैट इंक्लूडेड द लाइक्स ऑफ Nabila, that included the likes of Musarrat Misbah, as well as Saida Mandviwala of Tony and Guy, and it included Angie Marshall, it included a lot of renowned names, so I'm not just talking about myself that I am not able to sustain my business, but I'm talking from, we were speaking on behalf of a lot of women who are not able to sustain their business due to this reason कि we have had no support whatsoever, and हम लोगों की savings करोड़ों में नहीं होती हैं, contrary to popular belief, what people think कि जी हम लोग तो salon owners जो हैं वो इतना कमा के जो हैं वो अपनी बस जेब में ही जो है वो रख लेती हैं, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होता है। वो पैसे आपकी रोलिंग में होते हैं, और वो जो पैसा है जब रोलिंग में होता है तो आपके पास सेविंग्स बहुत कम होती हैं, और बहुत सी खवातीन ऐसी हैं जो who are actually running their households from the income, so they're not going to jeopardize the sanctity and the peace of their own household to basically only provide for their staff. So ठीक है, जितना भी हो सकता था possible किया, लेकिन उससे बढ़कर जो है वो आप नहीं कर सकते थे। तो स्टाफ जो है वो रोता था, स्टाफ जो है वो कॉल कर करके जी मैम हमारे हमारे घर के खर्चे, हमारा रेंट हमसे वो मांग रहे हैं। अच्छा, yes, rent was another issue that as far as luckily thank God, as far as my Lucky One place was concerned, Lucky One waived off not 100% rent, even though I need to still I think that Lucky One, what they did was for the month of March, they waived off, I think March and April, they waived off March, I think they waived off 100%, April they waived off 50%, and May they have waived off 25%, which is ridiculous because I said that why even charge 50% when there is zero business, Dolman Mall वालों ने zero rent कर दिया था, so Lucky One वालों को तो खैर मैं बिल्कुल पैसे नहीं दूंगी चाहे वो आप जो भी करें, but luckily at my Clifton place as well, my landlady, she said कि जी 50% तो दे दो, तो वो भी बड़ी मुश्किलों से मैंने 50%, अब luckily for me again, thank God that I had different sources of income where I was doing some, I did a commercial and I was doing some paid promotions on my social media, जिसकी वजह से मुझे थोड़ा बहुत पैसे मिल गए, और वो पैसे जो भी मैं कमा रही थी वो मैं आगे बिजनेस में डाल रही थी, चाहे वो रेंट हो चाहे वो सैलरीज हो। So in May, when May came, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here because you raised a very good point about the fact that as the fashion and beauty care industry, you guys have not received any concrete SOPs from the government, which would allow you to come out of this vicious cycle and restart, coming out positive on the other side and restart your businesses and get the consumers back in. So now in the absence of that, I'm sure there is something that you and your leading industry compatriots are doing in order to make sure that you yourself have some kind of SOPs that will allow you to be as safe as possible for your employees and for your consumers. If you could just share the top 4 or 5 key steps and initiatives that you have drafted, that will help you come back. And at the end of it, if you could just give us a brief overview of the next 2 or 3 key things that you would expect from the local or the provincial government that is tailoring these kind of things, which you're going to do what you can, but when they come to inspect you, what is the things that they should be checking in order to ensure that there is safety all around? So I'm sure that you have some input for them as well that can be shared back with them.
Yeah, well, as far as the SOPs are concerned, the SOPs are something that we have developed on our own, which it has been in collaboration with some of the leading salons, including Nabila, including Depilex, including Tony and Guy, including myself, even though, कि मेरा कोई बहुत ज़्यादा कोई long drawn किस्म की SOPs नहीं थी, but the basic SOP, especially as far as because there is so much physical contact, so the biggest SOP was that there has to be a very good protection of the face. So meaning that my staff has to wear a mask and they have to wear a face shield all the time to protect them touching their face, because this is, of course, you know, coming from your secretions which are from your mouth and nose. So आंखों के थ्रू भी जो है वो ये जा सकता है वायरस, जिसकी वजह से अगर आप गंदे हाथों से अपने फेस को टच करेंगे, आंखों को टच करेंगे, तो वो आप अपने जाहिर है, you know, you're exposing yourself. So the biggest thing was, you know, that they have to have their face covered properly, which means a mask and a face shield. The fact, you know, that they have to wear a PPE gown or an isolation gown or anything, that really does not matter. But of course, I did make my staff wear the surgical gowns, not the isolation gowns to full hazmat suit, because, you know, that's totally useless as far as if you are isolating, you have to isolate 100%. Your even neck cannot be exposed and your feet cannot be exposed. And these girls, they don't even want to wear a face mask, let alone wear a hazmat suit. So I was thinking more from their point of view that, you know, the most important thing is to cover the face and the mouth. And then second most important thing is hand hygiene, which of course means that, you know, they have to regularly wash their hands. There has to be sanitizers all around. Then we have to disinfect each and every area after the client has come and gone. So before she sits down, after she sits down, so, you know, I have made like a mixture of Dettol, bleach and detergent, especially because detergent or soap water is going to kill this virus. So, you know, I don't need to invest in expensive disinfectants. So I just made bleach, Dettol and detergent का mixture, जिसके अंदर मैंने हर तरफ जो है वो हर 2 फुट पर जो है वो spray bottles रखी हुई है with a cloth. And, you know, each and every time that the client is going to come and sit down, before they sit and after they sit, the girl has to sanitize the entire area, everything, you know, from the table to the chair, and everything is cleaned before she sits and after she sits. Then whatever that the client is going to touch, for example, a cape or the gown or anything that she's going to touch, you know, it is immediately put into soap water and, you know, at least soaked in for about 20 seconds so that the virus is going to die. So, and then after that, we take it out and we air dry it. And I do have an outdoors area, so, you know, we air dry it. Then every 2 hours, you know, we have a mist disinfection of the entire environment as well, where from the walls to the floor to the equipment, meaning, you know, each and every area is disinfected with a spray gun. And in that as well, there is Dettol, there is bleach, and there is a disinfectant solution that I have put in that mist spray, just surface disinfection and environmental disinfection karega. Uske baad, then, you know, every client has to come in wearing a mask. And then I have limited the use of anything that gets reused. So everything is disposable, you know, जो threading है वो भी वो मुंह के जरिए नहीं threading कर सकती हैं, वो उनको अपने हाथों के जरिए threading करनी, because these girls hold the thread in their mouth or whatever, you know. I don't, not that I know that technique, I know the hand wala technique, crisscross, but you know, I told them that you cannot put anything in your mouth. Then everything is disposable. Anything that touches the face has to be disposed. You know, so like disposable wax sticks, disposable you know, cotton pads. Even the face has to be sanitized before, you know, starting any facial procedure. So sanitize with alcohol, you know. So like, I mean, as much as possible, we are trying to enforce strict SOPs in the business so that at least the people who are coming are going to be as confident that they are coming in a clean environment. And that is something, but of course I'm not vouching and giving any guarantee for any other salon, because that is something that I am enforcing. And I think that is the reason that the government has not yet given SOPs, because har gali mohalle mein salon hai, aur har gali mohalle ka jo salon के जो owners हैं, they are not going to be as particular about the SOPs. So that is something which I am not giving any guarantee about. Even though right now there has been no official permission, and I'm saying this, of course, you know, like, because ये मैं कुछ छुपा के नहीं मैं ये काम कर रही हूँ. Official permission हम लोग को नहीं दी गई है from the government of Pakistan, और नहीं, government of Pakistan ने दे दी हम लोग को permission. Sindh government ने हम लोग को permission नहीं दी है अब तक अपने business को खोलने की. लेकिन all salons are open despite the so-called ban on the industry right now, because of the fact that we need to earn. And if we're not going to earn, we will not be able to sustain. So, you know, we have all opened up our businesses, and पुलिस अभी भी आके हम लोगों को तंग करती है, अभी भी आके जो है वो कुछ सलॉन्स के बाहर वो आके खड़ी हो जाती है, उनको फोर्सफुली बंद कराती है, लड़कियों के साथ बदतमीजी कर रही है पुलिस। लेकिन वी आर ओपन, आई मीन इन माय लकी वन salon I'm not open till 10 o'clock. Since yesterday I opened the Clifton branch till 10 p.m. At Lucky One I'm open because of Lucky One timings. I'm open till 5 p.m. but that is a problem that I have to deal with. Okay, I cannot help that, you know. So
Nadia, thank you. Nadia, thank you for your wonderful insight into the steps that you are taking to protect the public and also the well-being of your staff. The results of the second poll are popping up on your screen now, and 92% of our audience feels that the SOPs play a vital role in stopping the COVID-19 virus. Can I just remind the audience that we have the Q&A section also available. So do let your questions coming in so that our panelists can address those towards the end of the session. I would now like to move on to our next participant. He represents the retail sector. Sameer Saleem.
Imran, I think we're going to cover Sania first because beauty and fitness kind of go together. So we'll jump to Sania for now.
Do you want to?
Yeah, so I'll just introduce Sania. She's already introduced herself at the beginning of the session. Sania is the owner of the Body Lab, which is a Pilates-focused fitness center. And it's got 3 branches in Pakistan, 2 in Karachi, 1 in Islamabad. And I think you just heard from the beauty side of the industry how difficult things have been over the past 3-4 months because it's so important to make sure that wherever there's close contact between your consumer and the person providing the service, there are extra precautions taken. So a lot of the fitness centers across have also been shut down and facing the same kind of issues that are facing the beauty industry as well. Tanya, if you could just give us some of the key highlights of the key challenges that you have faced. And now as things start to open up, what are the key steps that you will be taking in order to ensure the safety of your employees and of your consumers? Plus, what kind of support do you think that the government can step up and give you in terms of the right kind of SOPs? What are your expectations on that front? So handing over to you.
Okay, so first just talking about fitness in Pakistan. I feel like, so we are a women's only gym, so quite selective, and I mean, it just, we're a niche gym in the sense that we only take women. And I feel like fitness, the market has been evolving over years from educating women to step into a gym to making them realize how important fitness is as part of their everyday lives. Now we have this huge challenge when you can't even come to the gym and everything has to be virtual. So that's a major shift that's happened. I feel like on a bell curve, it's just gone from the market being increasingly aware to just there being a slump in the fitness market. Obviously, because there's so much contact, like we have group classes, we have private trainings. Group classes are the most available and affordable amongst women, amongst people. And even though we work on small groups, like we have a group of 10 people per class, there's still contact. And we work on reformers, which are Pilates ki machines hoti hain, jiske upar aap baith ke, late ke, khade hoke, you work out. And we have classes running back to back. And after every class, they're supposed to clean their reformers and leave. But there's minimal time of transition because the next class just starts immediately after. With this COVID, with the virus happening and this whole situation of COVID-19, it became increasingly challenging for us to kind of monitor what kind of hygiene protocols we'd be taking, because there is so much contact in the gym. We have a gym, we have these machines, Pilates ki, which you work out on. We obviously, like, whoever touches the dumbbell leaves it. How do we ensure that it's sanitized? I mean, it needs a 48-hour air time for the virus to get killed. So in these challenging times, I think it was the best. I mean, obviously, gyms had to be the first organizations, businesses to be shut down, which I completely have my backing on. But having said that, obviously, there's a huge slump in the earnings. I mean, I have 30 trainers, 30 employees working under me, which include our trainers, which are very educated, come from good families. Then we have cleaners. We have literally 30 set of people who I had to think about before shutting the gym. On a personal front, I feel like it didn't impact me as much because the businesses, the gyms that I have are owned by me. So in terms of rent, I feel like I got lucky. But then I also had to think of the bigger picture and think of how to sustain those employees and how to kind of get client retainership in challenging times. Because if someone has started the fitness journey, it's literally like meditation. It's like prayer. You get hooked to it. You need to do it every day because it kind of gives you some sanity, some well-being. And in a quarantine, for example, I feel like one way of overcoming it and getting through your emotion imbalances is working out. One major shift that I noticed in that just didn't happen in Pakistan, happened globally, was everyone moving on to virtual training. Now, virtual training is when you log on, like Zoom, one trainer is going to conduct a class. It can have up to 500 people. And I mean, it works in the sense that I feel like for the first time in my life, I've seen trainers from all around the world, be it England, UK, India, everyone it's just become a global platform. And I feel like that's really good for Pakistan because people are now getting more aware of, you know, they have more options. So that now they can see, they can compare, you know, what is being taught to them on a local front and how it's done globally. In terms of my business, I feel like virtual training has been all right in the sense that if we had 300 people coming to the gym every month, now we have around 20 people, maybe online. But that is, in my opinion, enough to kind of break even to pay my employees. It doesn't give me anything extra in the sense that I have no savings, yes. But I feel like that isn't really my goal right now. It's more to get over the pandemic. I know things are going to get better. I'm hopeful. And by even providing virtual, like initially when it started and when all gyms were going online, I had to kind of mentally prepare myself. Okay, I have to do it virtual just because everyone is doing it. Because virtual training, in my opinion, like I don't enjoy being online and working out because I feel like it doesn't kind of give the same motivation as it does going to a gym, getting that mahal and, you know, seeing people work out. Virtual was a challenge for me, to be honest, but I had to do it to get my business kind of running. Now there are enough people to break even, alhamdulillah. I don't have to pay rents. I'm happy that the awareness is kicking in. We're having people from Multan, from Karachi, from Lahore, Islamabad, all that I wasn't able to cater before. So in that way, I feel like awareness of scale, people are now pushed to kind of work out because it's so easily accessible to them on the phone. But having said that, one challenge that I do face in quarantine is the fact that all these big trainers all over the world, they're generous enough to have online free classes on their Instagram. They're doing free workouts. And that is a kind of a challenge because then people don't want to pay and join your classes, and instead they all go for the free option, which obviously anybody would because of the circumstances that were faced financially.
So no, you're right, because it's the environment also that people end up paying for when they're coming to a physical gym.
Yeah, of course. And sorry, 1 second. Is that question for me?
No.
Okay, so okay. Also, the mode of payment. So like corporate governance wise, everything has moved online. Like we can't physically go to the gym and take payments from people. So one good shift that I noticed amongst customers was that initially when they used to come to the gym and for some reason we used to tell them to pay online, they never did it. Now I feel like it's a necessity. This situation has given them a chance to kind of educate themselves and know that they can make an electronic transfer. They have to. I mean, push comes to shove. If you don't like something, you need to do it because there's no other choice. So in that respect, people are moving to these modes of payments. They're paying online. They are kind of getting hooked onto their virtual class trainings. It gives them a schedule, a timetable. It's part of their routine. And I feel like the biggest challenge of quarantine has been for everyone is that it's thrown everyone off their routines. And by just allotting themselves 1 hour in the day, be it any time, gives them that sort of structure that I feel like everyone lags. In terms of the government, I haven't really. Fariha, what was your question? Has the government given any SOPs?
Any SOPs that you will be following apart from what you're already going to be doing?
Honestly, nothing on the fitness industry, and me being a more conscientious and what can I say, a more ethical business person, I feel like I wouldn't want to open it so soon. I mean, it's open for personal trainings for people who really want to, like, the current gym we have, our headquarters has three floors, which can cater to around 150 people at the same time. But I'm willing to take one person at a time, telling them to bring their own towel, to bring their own sanitizers, to come wearing a face mask, come with their antibacterial. I just yesterday got the whole gym fumigated. That COVID was just the disinfectant that they do. From my point of view, from my side, I'm taking all these necessary precautions that I can. But then at the same time, I'm also telling my clients to kind of get their COVID test done within the same week. So there's no chance, there's minimal chance of infecting the other person next to them. I mean, that's something I learned from South City. That's what they're doing. I mean, if you have to come inside the hospital, you need to get your latest us hafte ka COVID test. I'm very optimistic in the sense that right after this ends the pandemic, I feel like the gym will run in full throttle. But the biggest challenge is, I don't think that businesses in the next 1 year or after will operate on the same level, will ever be the same, because this is just preparing us to kind of just get used to this new way of life. And I feel like there's nothing wrong in it. If they like virtual classes, like on a personal front, I'm very picky with whoever I want to train with. And in quarantine, I've gotten the chance to train with my instructor in Dubai, who I wasn't able to train with earlier. So it's educational, this experience, this pandemic. It's bringing awareness amongst masses, those who weren't aware of what options they had available. It's just bringing the whole world on a global platform as far as fitness is concerned. Rents, yes, are not being waived. I know, because one of my branches in Islamabad is on rent and I'm still paying rent, and happily so, because I feel like the person I'm paying rent to is also dependent on that money to run their house. So it'll just be unfair to kind of waive that off. I mean, I would appreciate if they bring it down, but completely waiving it off is something that I mean, I feel like people have their families dependent on rent. So there's not much I would want to say.
Thank you,
Quite
Sania.
a bit of interdependence in the economy on the people that
Of course,
you all
yeah,
employ.
there's this.
So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, Sania, and for all the different steps that you're taking to safeguard your consumers and your employees. We're going to hand over to Imran now.
We've got the poll results from our third poll, where we asked, is Pakistan ready to switch to e-payment? And 54% have said yes. Still quite a big number, 46% saying no. I think perhaps this is something which Niaz referred to earlier, and it would be interesting to convert this to the yes portion. Just moving on to our next panelist, he joins us, Saleem joins us from the retail sector. He represents Liberty Books, again, a household name where most of us, or we empty our pockets along with our kids. So Sameer, if I start off with you by asking, please tell us a little bit about your existing business model and also how that is affected by COVID-19. And then also some brief thoughts on what are you doing to counter that and what are your strategies going forward?
Thank you, Imran. So basically, I'd like to start connecting with what Niaz said earlier. I think in order to face this crisis, first we need to get fear and anxiety out of our system. I think he made a very valid point, because without that, we're not going to be able to think about the future. Now, coming to our own industry, I mean, just to give you a brief introduction of what the retail industry in Pakistan is all about. So we represent about 16% of Pakistan's GDP. We employ around 9 million people. And at the same time, the losses that we've incurred during this lockdown are close to 900 billion rupees. So that is the impact of Pakistan's retail industry on the economy. Now, if you talk about traders are also saying that, and this may come as a surprise to some, traders are also saying that nearly 75% of their Ramzan business, which is the biggest shopping festival of the year, has been lost due to COVID-19. And what really surprises me is that why is the government not offering any kind of relief to SMEs? You see, I mean, if the government does not do anything about it, you're not going to see that many stores in the near future, at least in a country like Pakistan. If you look globally, I mean, whether it's the US or you look at Canada as well, I mean, the first thing that they've done is the government, they've offered some kind of relief to the SME sector so that they can stabilize and survive. So that is a brief introduction of what has been going on in the retail industry so far. Now, in terms of consumer behavior and trends in the industry, we've seen a big surge in online. So most of the brands that I talk to, they report that they've seen a 2 to 3x growth in their online sales. So while they've seen growth, we've also noticed that our ecosystem is not ready for that kind of growth at the moment, because we're facing delays with regards to deliveries. We're facing delays from courier companies. So, I mean, it's given, if you look at it positively, it's given the retail industry an opportunity to look at the whole e-commerce ecosystem, which I believe is going to be the future. Maybe not so much in a country like Pakistan, because I still feel that over here, the forms of entertainment are quite limited. In terms of, you only have like two major forms of entertainment, which are food and shopping. So I think there is a bit of a digital delusion as well. I don't think the industry is going to shift completely towards digital sales. That's what my analysis is. And if you look at some data as well, it shows that Pakistan's e-commerce sale is just 0.35% of the total retail business that happens in Pakistan. Even if you look at a neighboring country like India, where the e-commerce business is just 2.2% of the total sales, even with dominant players like Amazon being there. So I think we need to take some stock and look at data of what actually is going on. I think where businesses and us as retailers will really need to sort of work is working on our business intelligence. You know, finding out what customers really want, what customers buy, why they buy, and when they buy. So I think that is going to be a game changer for each and every business post COVID-19. Now, as far as the measures that we've taken in our own business, I mean, we've taken the basic measures. Like, for example, we've given our employees gloves, we've given our employees masks, we sanitize our stores on the hour. So those are some of the basic steps that we've taken. One new thing that we introduced was that we started putting the temperature of our riders for our online deliveries on their shipments and parcels, just to make customers more comfortable in terms of receiving their orders. So, I mean, we followed every SOP that was provided by the government, and I think we're good to go as far as post-COVID-19 operations are concerned.
Sameer, if I jump in, and can I also ask you, have you also thought about models where kids can pay a certain amount and read unlimited books online? Is that also the sort of thing that Liberty Books would come out with in terms of strategy? And while you answer that, we've got our poll number 4 on the screens for our audience to participate in. So please do answer that.
Ji. So Imran, in terms of e-books or physical books, I don't think the challenge in terms of e-books or physical books is there. I think our challenge is with reading. What we want to work on in the near future is increasing the awareness of reading, because people aren't reading enough. That is our analysis. I mean, there is so much digital distraction happening at the moment that people have moved away from reading. So before we, sort of work on getting e-books accessible or making more physical books accessible to any audience, whether it's children's or adults. I think something that we as an organization want to work on in the near future is creating awareness for reading. And I think parents and schools can really help us build that awareness. We would love to work closely with schools that want to promote reading amongst children. And we would love to work with the government as well, if they're willing to support some sort of program where they create reading awareness. A public-private partnership would be welcome from our end. So that is my take on whether it's e-reading or physical reading. I think it's a battle for reading at the end of the day.
Thank you, Sameer. If I hand it over to Fariha to take us through the next segment, please.
We're now moving on to our next panelist, Tanzila. Tanzila is the founder of a startup called girlythings.pk, and she's also facing her own set of issues during this lockdown period. So Tanzila, if you can please give us an introduction to yourself, your business, and what have your experiences been during this time? Have you been positively or negatively affected, and how do you feel you're going to come out on the other side of all of this?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you
wonderful. Are. Thank you, Fariha, and thank you so much to all the panelists. It's a great conversation. Girlythings.pk started off as a mobile application when I was unable to find a sanitary napkin in my own city, in which I've lived for quite a few years. And I realized that as a person with disability, I still do not have access to healthcare products, even though I have the money to spend. I have the money to get the right products for myself. That's how Girly Things happened. And now we deliver sanitary napkins to women at home, along with a lot of other products that they might feel hesitant in buying from the store. For example, a pregnancy kit, or maybe any other product that is really private to them. So that's like an overview. And that's very interesting because जब हमने शुरू किया था, तो it was a feminine hygiene brand. It's very difficult to talk about. It's very difficult to market compared to a beauty brand. And now when I look around me, everything is about hygiene. So I thought कि जितने हमारे powerful brands हैं, जो beauty के advocates हैं, जो clothing line के advocates हैं, why don't they make a priority of hygiene parallel, health and hygiene parallel to beauty? तो आजकल जो COVID-19 की जंग है, that is all about hygiene. So thinking about that, we had a lot of issues, and for the past 2 years we're figuring out कि अच्छा हमारी marketing strategy क्या होनी चाहिए without offending anybody. Because any sanitary napkin brand that you've seen in Pakistan, the moment they put out a campaign, they have to talk to the user about their products. Lekin somewhere they do get this backlash. Now they're selling the right thing, but the stigma and the tabooness of the whole issue in Pakistan, and in fact in the entire world, if I'll be honest, is pretty much there. But the problem is very much prevalent also, not just for me as a person, as a woman with disability, but for so many other able-bodied women as well. We're so empowered, but buying a sanitary napkin from a market could be such a daunting experience that they would probably prefer कि अच्छा किसी को भेज दें या क्या करें, all of that. And then that leads to a lot of low self-esteem issues from the moment we figure out that अच्छा menstruation is something to all the way to menopause. To answer to your question, Fariha, that right now when this COVID-19 situation started, हम लोगों ने 2 हफ्तों के लिए अपनी deliveries बंद कर दी. हमको orders बहुत ज़्यादा आना शुरू हो गए थे एकदम से. And of course, that was like a time when business was booming, and I could have recovered in my entire cost in those 2 weeks. Lekin we were confused कि अच्छा SOPs e-commerce के लिए क्या है. तो अभी तक I am not aware कि e-commerce के लिए अगर government ने कोई SOPs कहे हैं नहीं कहे हैं. Then when the orders literally went out of hand, then I had to discuss with my family and say, look, I need to start this. They gave me their blessings. I went all the way to my office. मैंने अपनी सारी inventory pick करके I brought them to my home. So इस वक्त मेरे पूरे कमरे में all I see is like some little bit of furniture and all sanitary napkins के cartons. That's all. And my room smells very good actually. And I have been operating from home now. अब हम लोग deliver करते हैं. And एक बड़ा challenge जो आ रहा है वो है delay हो रहे हैं हमारे orders बहुत ज़्यादा. क्योंकि this is something that's not like a lipstick or a handbag that could be delayed. जो आराम से पहुंच जाए. If a girl calls us and tells us कि हमें ये चाहिए, तो उसको within 24 hours या 48 hours ये पहुंचाना है. हर हाल में. तो what we did, we expanded our line of delivery partners. We got almost everybody on board and we have not stopped there. जो नया स्टार्टअप भी एज ए डिलीवरी पार्टनर आ रहे हैं, हम उसको कॉल करके ऑन बोर्ड ले आते हैं ताकि कोई गुंजाइश ना रहे कि हमारे यूजर के पास एक चीज नहीं पहुंच रही, क्योंकि अब बिकॉज ऑफ लॉकडाउन डेफिनेटली आवर फीमेल यूजर्स आर फेसिंग इवन मोर प्रॉब्लम्स. वन गुड थिंग इज हैपेंड इज दैट हमारी जो रीच है वो काफी दूर तक गई है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल we're getting orders from like villages and really remote areas. I mean, my geography lessons are improving with that also. We got this order from Badin and from Mamu Kanjan, and I immediately need to open my map and go like, ye kahan ka order hai? What's going on? But the good thing is कि me and my team, we never sit back. अगर हमें loss भी हो रहा है order पे क्योंकि वो बहुत दूर जा रहे हैं, the delivery partner is charging us a lot, we make sure कि वो order पहुंचे वहाँ पे. So I think it's a great time not just to run a business that is e-commerce, but also to actually help women in a time of a global pandemic and to make sure that whatever it is, we are supporting our women. क्योंकि जैसे मैम नादिया की बात थी, मैम सानिया ने बात की अभी, they are speaking for a lot of women out there. उनके behalf पे as a leader, they both are speaking up कि चलें ठीक है, we are I mean for Ma'am Sania herself, and her positivity is so infectious that I feel like joining her Pilates class right away. So the thing is that for women, as for us, the pandemic is affecting us very differently. और जब भी मेरी सर एसन से बात हुई है, he has been trying to talk to me या जो भी है, I feel मैं उनको बताने की कोशिश करूँ कि सर मैं इस वक्त प्याली धो रही हूँ या इस वक्त मैं चम्मच धो रही हूँ. So for us, our home chores and the issues or the routine wise जो भी हमारे daily base के challenges होते हैं, they are literally merged on with our own professional lives, with our businesses. So it's like, you know, a cocktail of issues. अब हमारा challenge ये है, हमने business भी run करना है, हमने वो घर को भी देखना है, and we have to do it top notch. So I think COVID has affected us very differently. Personally also, as women, as business women, and thirdly, I would say कि हमें अभी तक e-commerce के कोई proper SOPs from the government नहीं मिले हैं, which I highly would demand, क्योंकि even though I know, alhamdulillah, I am COVID-19 negative, but मेरा जो supply chain है वो बहुत लंबा है. So I cannot make my parcel a carrier of that virus also. That is going to be extremely horrendous. So for me, the SOPs are not there, but what we're following is, of course, a lot of hygiene, cleanliness. The packaging is done very carefully. And our user is also encouraged to disinfect जब भी उनको कोई package मिलता है.
Thank you, Tanzila. If I may bring in Niaz Saab here just to add in some last words for the audience, any piece of advice from him going forward. We've also got the poll results on the screen now, where we asked the audience, are you satisfied to go out to market to work or for shopping? And
Imran, I'll just add over here. Yeah.
65% have said not at all. GS, and over to you.
Interesting session, interesting poll results. And of course, जितने भी panelists ने बात करी है उससे मुझे ये नजर आ रहा है कि everyone is facing issues. और I think नियाज़ साहब अभी इसको जो कह रहे थे कि ecosystems जब तक build नहीं होंगे ना, हमारे solutions नहीं निकलेंगे. This is, I mean, we can't emphasize on that thing more कि जब तक के associations नहीं बनेंगी, Silicon Valleys नहीं बनेंगे, focused areas नहीं बनेंगे जहाँ से industries operate कर रही होंगी, SOPs वहीं से निकलेंगे. I believe government, मैं थोड़ा सा insight इधर इसलिए दे देता हूँ क्योंकि I have been part of politics. I have contested the elections back in 2013 with PTI, and I did not choose to contest elections in 2018 primarily on the reason because जितने commitments government या political parties करती हैं वो उसका 30% भी deliver नहीं कर सकते. Such is our political system कि आपको वादे इतने बड़े बड़े करने पड़ते हैं लोगों से वोट लेने के लिए, लेकिन जो systems हैं वो आपको deliver करने नहीं देते. तो I chose कि मैं इस सिस्टम का पार्ट ना बनूं जहां पे हमें झूठ बोल के लोगों से वोट लेना हो और उसके बाद जब आप पावर में आए तो ये चीज़ हो रही हो कि लोग आपको जो है वो क्वेश्चन कर रहे हो, जैसे अभी हमने देखा लोग जो हैं वो क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट को। रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है ये गवर्नमेंट की, लेकिन सीइंग द इकोनॉमी ऑफ पाकिस्तान एज एन अंडर डेवलप्ड नेशन, हम अगर बेसिक्स को ही सही कर लें तो बड़ी बात है। बिजनेसेस को, इंडस्ट्रीज को सपोर्ट करना तो बहुत आगे की बात है। व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इकोनॉमीज लाइक यूएसए और कनाडा और न्यूजीलैंड, तो उससे तो हम अपने आप को कंपेयर कर ही नहीं सकते। अ वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट जस्ट हैपेंड कि पीआईए का प्लेन जो डाउन हुआ है, the question that was coming to my mind was, क्या पीआईए के प्लेन्स को इंजीनियरिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एसओपीज को फॉलो किया गया था? फॉरगेट अबाउट कोविड एसओपीज, क्या उन्होंने एयरलाइन के एसओपीज को भी फॉलो किया था कि जी जब डाउन टाइम होगा प्लेन्स को तो मेंटेन कैसे रखना है? बिकॉज माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट कम्स टू माय माइंड इज कि प्लेन्स को जो है वो एसओपीज ही नहीं फॉलो किए गए थे, हेंस ये जो प्रॉब्लम आई है। तो गवर्नमेंट की इतने बड़े बड़े इश्यूज हैं, स्टील मिल, पीआईएस, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, फॉरगेट अबाउट इंडस्ट्रीज को वो कोई सपोर्ट देंगे या इंडस्ट्रीज को कोई एसओपीज देंगे, वहां पे इकोसिस्टम का काम है कि वो आके अपने एसओपीज को जो है वो बिल्ड करे। एंड नियाज साहब प्लीज, इमरान, बैक टू यू, बट दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई रियली फेल्ट फॉर बिकॉज ऑफ बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम, के मैं ये चाहता था कि ये जो लोगों का पेन पॉइंट है उसको थोड़ा सा रियलिस्टिकली मैं एड्रेस कर सकूं कि आप लोगों को जो है ना वो इकोसिस्टम बिल्ड करने की जरूरत है इंडस्ट्री की, एंड डोंट डिपेंड ऑन द गवर्नमेंट। अनफॉर्चुनेट बट दैट्स ट्रू फॉर पाकिस्तान।
Ji, Niaz Saab, over to you for your brief last words for our audience. आपका माइक म्यूटेड है नियाज साहब।
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yes.
Okay. So I think it has been a fascinating dialogue, and I think the pain point is the SOPs. And the reason those are the pain points is because the government and even the institutions and the industries do not actually know how to deal with this. We have never seen a problem of this magnitude. And I think one thing that the government and also the industry and the business owner needs to understand is that now we have to be responsive, and that we have to be swift enough in order to ensure that our demands and that are being heard. But unfortunately, from listening to all the stakeholders in this particular dialogue, those SOPs have not been created in a practical manner, or nobody has really thought through in terms of how this will work out. And I think this is going to be our real challenge. एक तो ये चीज है। दूसरी ये चीज है कि in terms of change, what are those things that we have to be very mindful of? And I think this is the time for the CEOs and the business owners and the individuals to continue to write a list of priorities in terms of what will happen if a big change, hits us again around. So that is another important aspect of it. What are those SOPs internally? One is to driven, but what are those SOPs that are internally driven? For example, in the telecom world, we have this whole sales and distribution channel that has been severely affected because we do not know how to service our distributors, our retailers, and ultimately our clients also. So ये सारी चीजें हमें दोबारा से देखनी होंगी. And I hope that the government will take initiative in order to ensure that all diverse parties are brought onto a single platform. And then we create policies, procedures, and cohesive policies within the government that ensure that those policies are actually implemented and they are a reflective, they are a reflection of a reality, and they actually solve the practical problems. And I think in order to do that, the government will really need talented individuals to understand that particular industry and know the problem of common man. से बात हुई है कि एक तरीका कार वजह किया है कि आप किस तरीके से लोन ले सकते हैं, लेकिन वो लोन प्रैक्टिकली नहीं सकते, तो फिर लोगों के काम किस तरह आएगा? और अगर ये SMEs हमारा जो इंजन, sustainability का, it is one of the most vibrant engines. और अगर ये खुदा न खास्ता इसको डैमेज होता है, तो all the people who are at this panel, I am immensely and I think that, you know, this battle that we are fighting, obviously we continue to raise our voice to create new platform. Policy makers understand the contributions that we have, but abhi tak uska koi us tarah khatir kha result nahi aaya. I hope some of the policy makers might be. I will, you know, meri apni ek request hogi ki khudara, this is the time to start taking these things very, very seriously. I know the government is taking these things very seriously, generic, and each ministry needs to deal a little work in order to ensure that, you know, Pakistani national जो हैं और उनका जो business है और उनका जो कारोबार है और उनका जो interest है, उसको इस दौरान में minimum डैमेज। जो चीज मैंने लास्ट में कहनी है कि मैं फिनटेक का एक ग्रेट फ्यूचर देखता हूँ, एंड आई होप कम अप पॉलिसीज यू नो विद रिगार्ड द फिनटेक ऑपरेशंस। पाकिस्तान उस पर काम भी कर रहा है, लेकिन मोर लोगों को, मोर इंडस्ट्रीज को, मोर प्लेटफॉर्म्स को एक जगह पे लाने की जरूरत है। एंड telcos have always done immensely well with regards to their contribution in terms of how they have transformed the society. And I hope that they will continue to do that. And then they will become more agile and reflective based on the changes that needs to be incorporated in the business model. जिसकी आज हमने discussion की. On a personal basis, I think that we must not give up, जो कि a great hope, and you know, a lot of people have talked their experiences out today. And I also, and I am so hopeful that अगर इस business women and businessmen हमारे पास पाकिस्तान में रोक नहीं सकता. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Niaz Saab. Thank you to all the panelists for joining us. Thank you to the hosts. Thank you to all the hosts for also providing us this platform to come together. And Ahsan, agar aap kuch last words add karna chahein.
Thank you everyone for sharing your experiences, and of course my moderators for keeping an engaging session over here. At the end, I would like prayers for everyone. We had an unfortunate incident today, and I hope everyone over here is safe. Of course, there have been tragedies, and prayers for them. And I look forward to having our next session on 31st of May, which is Sunday, with a new set of panelists. And I hope to have you engaged over there as well. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you.